Well, hello again. Welcome to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and we're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 12. We're just starting there. En hois epi sun aktheson ton muriadon, tu oklu, hosti katapatein alelus, exatolegein prostus mathetus autu proton. En hois, a slightly elliptical beginning here. It's sort of it's something like meanwhile. So at this time, you've got to supply chronos or something here at this time. So we'll just translate this as meanwhile, slightly idiomatic, and we get a genitive absolute here with a aorist passive participle. It's from epi sun ago, and the gamma in ago has been lengthened to, so it has been aspirated because of the theta in the aorist passive ending. So meanwhile, and this is myriads. Well, a myriad is 10,000, but it's not. You're not meant to take it literally. It just means a huge number. So a large number, myriads of a crowd, having been gathered together, hosti katapatein alelus, so that they were trampling upon one another. So meanwhile, myriads of people gathered together with the result that they were trampling upon one another, from katapatio. Exato, he began to speak to his disciples. Proton, firstly, go adverb here. Prosekati hiautois apo tes somes, he tis estin hypocrisy, ton Pharisaion. This particular pericope is only in Luke, by the way. So it's Lucan material. So it's beware, hold yourself back from, so beware from the sume is the leaven, or what do we call it nowadays? Yeast. It's that which makes makes the bread rise. So beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Hatis est in hypocrisis, which is hypocrisy. The verb hypocrinomai originally meant to answer, and then it came to refer to a hypocrites, who was an actor, who was someone pretending to be on stage somebody else, and hence over time the word hypocrinomai came to mean to act in a hypocritical way, and this is the abstract noun here, the third declension, hypocrisis. Uden de sun ke kalumenon esti houk apokalopthesatai, kai krypton hou gnos thesatai. There is nothing hidden, this is from sun kalupto, which will not be revealed, from apokalupto. This is the future passive here. And now we go to an adjective, krypton, hidden, which will not be known, or perhaps made known. So this is the future passive from ginosko, which will not be made known. Anthon, for this reason. So wherefore, again, it's idiomatic. It's a little bit like the en hois, it's idiomatic, in return for those things. So wherefore, as many things as ente scotia apati, you say in the dark, ento photi akuthasatai. Now this is neuter plural, so singular verb. They will be heard, ento photi, in the light. Kai hop pros tous elelaesati entois temaios, kerukthesatai epiton domaton. And that which you have spoken, aorist from elio, literally to the ear. So that which you've spoken in someone's ear, but it's literally towards the ear. In the tamaios, this is from tamaion, is a tamaion's an inner chamber or storeroom, So in other words, it's a small, quiet place. So that which you've spoken into someone's ear in the storeroom or in the inner chamber, it will be proclaimed epitone domatone on the houses, we might say on the rooftops, on the houses. Lego de humin tois philois mu. This particular pericope is also in Matthew. So I say this to you, I say to you, my friends, me phobethete apo ton apoktenon ton tosoma, kai metatauta mea konton perisoteron tit poiesai. Now this is going to be the subjunctive here. It's a bit tricky here with the accents and things, but this is a subjunctive. So do not use with may in place of an imperative, I think. Do not fear from those killing the body, and after these things, not. Now, echo can be used in the sense of being able to do something. It occurs in classical Greek as well, but echo in the sense of being able. So, and after these things, not being able, it's genitive after this apo, to do anything, perisoteron, anything, well, more excessive. For perisoteron, anything greater. It's a comparative from perisos. Apodexo de humin tina phobethete. You see it's the same accent we've got here. I will show to you whom, and this is subjunctive, you ought to fear. Now notice we get phobethete. So we get phobethete and phobethete. This one is the imperative. This is a contract or a lengthening here. This is the imperative here. Aorist. Phobiamai is a deponent verb, and it goes into the passive in the past tense, and this is the aorist imperative. But it's in the passive because it's a deponent verb. So phobete ton meta to apoktenai ekon to exousian embalein esten gehenen. But fear the one. Now again we get this ekonta. The ton goes with the ekonta, and this time it doesn't mean able, it means having, because we've got an object, exousian. So fear the one having the power or the authority to cast into Gehenna, meta to apoktenai, meta plus the articular infinitive, after having killed you. So fear the one that after killing you has the authority to cast you into Gehenna. Kai lege humin, anai lege humin, indeed, or yes, I say to you. This nai is a funny verb. It's a very strong affirmative. So indeed, yes, I say to you, tuton phobethete, fear that one. Or fear this one, I should technically say it's this, isn't it? So fear this one. And again, it's an imperative like the one up here. Uki pentes struthia poluntai asarion duo. And now we get a question. Uki, question expecting the answer yes. So are not 5 sparrows poluntai, this is the present passive from polio, to sell, are they not sold for a genitive of price for 2 asarion? Now the asarion is a Roman coin. It's about 1/24th of a denarius, so it's not very much. They often translate it as a farthing or a shilling, or perhaps 5 cents in modern currency, but it really means just a very small amount. Kai hen, and one of them, uk esti epililase menon enopion to theou. this part, we get here a periphrastic perfect here, perfect passive. So we've got estin plus the perfect passive participle. The verb here is epilanthanomai. If you're looking this one up, this is irregular here. Lanthanomai, the stem is lath, and you get a vowel gradation from the alpha goes to an eta, and the theta becomes a sigma before the nasal. So lots happening with this verb, but it's from, if you're looking it up, it's from epilanthanomai, which means to forget or to escape the notice of. So, and one of these has not been ignored or has not escaped the notice before God, enopion to theou. So none has been forgotten in the face of God. Alakai hytrikes tes kepales humon passai arithmentai. But even, I'm going to translate the kai carefully here, but even the hairs of your head, all of them, arithmentai is a perfect passive from arithmio, and then we get it's an epsilon contract verb, so that epsilon lengthens and we get the ntai, third person plural ending. So but even the hairs of your head, all of them have been numbered. Me phobes there, now we get a present imperative from phobeamai. Do not fear, and then a semicolon. Polone struthione diaferete. Literally, you differ from many sparrows. So often translated, you are worth more than, but it's just diafero. You are you differ. You are quite different from many sparrows. In other words, you're more important. The next little pericope again is in Matthew, but not Mark. Lego de humin, I say to you, pas hos an homologese en emoi empros then turnanthropon, kai hopios to anthropu, homologese en auto empros then turn angelon to theou. But I say to you, everyone who might confess. Now this is an odd expression here. I looked this one up. The commentator says here that it's an expression that you see in Syriac, which is a related Semitic language. It also is used in Matthew 10:32. So it's a Semitic expression. It literally is everyone who confesses in me. And it just means who confesses, who declares, who believes in me, who confesses me before men. Also, hopios to anthropu, the Son of Man, homologese, will confess. Will confess. Now we get the n autou. Will confess him. Empros then ton angelon to theou, before the angels of God. So in both cases we get this funny use of n with this verb. Homologio is to agree, is one of the, so it's almost agrees with me, and that probably accounts for the n here. It's normally used for confess, but it means to say the same thing, so hence to agree. Anyway, so that's a slightly odd expression there. Hot de anesamenos me enopion ton anthropon ep anethe satai enopion ton angelon to theou. And the one having denied me before men, he will be denied before, so it's a future passive, before the angels of God. Kai hos ere logon eston huion to anthropo af ethe satai auto. And everyone who will speak, this is from Ero, it's the future of Lego, Everyone who will speak a word with regard to the Son of Man, so I must have the sense of epi here, against, but it just says with regard to, probably a negative word, it will be forgiven to him. So again we get the future passive. This is from af hiemi. It will be forgiven to him. Toide es to hagion pneuma blasphemesanti uk aphthesatai. But for the one blaspheming, the to goes with the participle here, in respect to Holy Spirit, or the Holy Spirit here, it will not be forgiven. Again, that's impersonal usages here with the future passive. Hotan de es feros in humas epitas synagogas, katatas arkas kaitas exousias, me merimnese te pos ti apologeses de ti epeti. Whenever they carry you in, so they bring you in to the synagogues and to the arkas. Well, these are the rulers, and the exousias, the authorities. Exousia normally is an abstract noun simply meaning authority, but I think in this context we get we have to translate this as people. So the rulers and those in authority, the authorities. We get may with again a subjunctive for the imperative. So do not, this is from merimnao, to have concern or care. Pose, how, a ti or what, or perhaps in respect to what you will make your defence. Apologio. We get the word apology from this, but the original meaning of it was to make your defence in court. It's a court term. Or what you would say. Toga hagion pneuma didaxe humas en aute te hora hade apen. For the Holy Spirit will teach you in that hour what it is necessary to say. And that's the first little section of chapter 12.